Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is healthy and safe during this period of uncertainty. First, let me introduce my team. We have Ruben, Kaijie, Shirin, Sean, and myself. Today, we're going to be talking about a very pertinent issue that affects our society and many societies around the world: employment for the persons with disabilities, PWD in short. So some of you may be wondering, what qualifies a person to be labeled as a PWD? The United Nations defines PWDs as those with long-term physical, mental, intellectual, or sensory impairment. The definitions of physical and sensory impairment is quite straightforward, but not so for the mental and intellectual impairment. So let me share with you. Intellectual impairment involves problems with learning, understanding, processing information, and problem solving. They may also have difficulties with communication, social skills, and general living skills. Mental impairment, on the other hand, affects emotions, mood, perceptions, and behavior. This can be suffered by people of all levels of intellectual ability. Despite these odds, there are few who have excelled in various aspects of their lives with strong support from the people around them. However, many are not as fortunate. 71.4% remain unemployed throughout their lives and often feel left out and marginalized in society. The unemployment rate for those aged 15 to 39 years old is even higher at 72.4%. In 2017, the NCSS Quality of Life Survey revealed that the thing most desired by these PWDs is none other than independence. 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 All of us take this for granted and never spare a thought for the many PWDs who simply can't achieve this. Today, we'll share some cold hard truths with you, and we will then dive into the ways that these problems can be managed. I'll now pass on my time to Kaijie. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerome. So, why is there such a low rate of employment amongst persons with disabilities? During our research, we realized that most of the causes of low employment rate falls under two main categories: low recruitment rate and low retention rate. Firstly, let's talk about recruitment. Now, not surprisingly, employers tend to hold misconceptions about PWDs in the workplace. Some of these unfounded concerns include having to spend more time supervising PWDs, resulting in a lack of time for other tasks, and having possible absenteeism issues whereby PWDs do not show up for work, which may present challenges if there are any dependencies. Now, this discrimination does not go unnoticed by PWDs and may lead to lowered self-esteem and confidence issues. In some cases, PWDs might be so disturbed by potential judgment from their colleagues and supervisors that they do not apply for jobs in the first place. Without active recruitment, employment rate amongst PWD will remain low as employers choose to hire non-PWDs instead. Even in the cases where PWDs are successfully hired, there is a problem with retention. Some employers lack awareness about the needs of PWDs in the workplace, while some colleagues simply do not understand the issues that are faced by PWDs and may discriminate against them knowingly or unknowingly. Surveys have shown that most PWDs are seen as less capable when compared to their non-handicapped counterparts. There is also a negative preconception that PWDs have poor health, which can affect their performance in the workplace. Eventually, PWDs will be left feeling isolated from their colleagues since no one understands their pain and hence resign from the workplace. Now, with little new PWDs hired due to the low recruitment rate and a high number of PWD employees leaving the workplace due to a low retention rate, companies naturally are left with a low rate of PWD employment. Next, I'll pass on the time to Sean, who will share with you some of the solutions that our group has come up with.
Thank you, Kaijie. Now, let us move on to the portions on solution. To tackle the issue mentioned earlier by Kaijie and Jerome, our group came up with two solutions. I will cover our first solution, disability, which stands for Disability Employment Scheme, and our second solution will be covered by Ruben later on. Firstly, let's watch a video on some concerns PWDs have and how disability can help solve it. As you saw from the video, disability is aimed to resolve the issue of low employment rates for PWDs. The rationale behind this program is to remove barriers that are impeding PWDs from applying for jobs, namely the lack of job opportunities and the worries of not only themselves, but also their caretakers and family members. So how does disability work? This program will have companies partner up with charitable organizations such as SG Enable and the Disabled People Association, through which PWDs can sign up to join the company for a 3-day job shadowing program. The PWDs will be assigned to a mentor whom they will be following throughout the entirety of the 3 days and will show them the rope of the business. This benefits both the PWDs and the employers. For the PWDs, this allows them to first experience what the industry is like before being fully committed to their jobs. For the employers, they can determine if the PWDs are suitable for their line of work. Caretakers or family members are also allowed to tag along during the program. This helps to alleviate the fear for not only the PWDs, but also their loved ones as well, as there will be representatives from the company present to explain the job scope and to answer to their concerns on issues such as safety hazards. Lastly, of course, promising candidates will be offered a long-term internship with the company and will thus be ensured a secure job. This is the overall look of how disability will function. Now, a similar program has been held in Accor France called Handicap, which was successful as many PWDs were actually hired. Now, we have tackled the issue of employment for PWDs. I'll pass the time on to Ruben, who will share with you our second solution, Fanfare of the Heart.
Thank you, Sean. Now that we have covered the PWD side of the story, let's talk about the more difficult issue that needs to be resolved. As what Kai-Jie said earlier, discrimination is ubiquitous, and in a feeling-oriented world like this one, such an insidious presence can be harmful to PWDs and can have a hold on them. So something has to be done to rewire others' thinking and mindsets to create a more empathetic and healthy environment for employees, PWDs or otherwise, to thrive and grow, thus helping them to develop a sense of belonging to the companies and improving their retention rate. Thus, we introduce Fanfare of the Heart. What you've just seen is a demonstration of the new initiative for companies to adapt and follow to tackle this problem. This initiative entails the facilitation of accurate information about PWDs in the workplace, focusing on their strengths as well as addressing the common misconceptions they may have on certain disabilities, while at the same time helping them to understand the issues they face on a daily basis. Similarly to what is being practiced at Ernst & Young, this will be done through the distribution of educational materials such as quizzes and handbooks. Now, the second part of Fanfare of the Heart will include the introduction of courses and activities to complement the more theoretical first part of the initiative, to provide a more multidimensional view of PWDs. So this will be done every fortnight, each focusing on a specific disability. So for the week focusing on physical disability, for example, employees were to be made to do a series of deceptively easy tasks, such as operating a coffee machine while being strapped onto a wheelchair or having their fingers taped together to simulate various disabilities like lower body paralysis and arthritis. So Fanfare of the Heart combines both the theoretical and practical aspects of understanding PWDs and will help to create a more empathetic and understanding environment for all, making them more likely to retain and remain in the company. Now, the path to eradicate discrimination and negative stereotypes once and for all is indeed an idealistic goal. After all, it is human nature to be judgmental. Judging people because they're different in certain ways is such an orthodox practice nowadays. It's almost become a norm, a habit for us. And why? It's because we tend to gravitate towards those preconceived ideas in our heads that have been formed due to misinformation and hearsay when we encounter something foreign, or in this particular context, someone who diverged from artificially created norms. Thus, Fanfare of the Heart is aimed at making the path easier by tackling the root of the problem and drowning out all that misinformation that spreads like a disease. So now I'll pass the time to Shirin, who'll talk about the feasibilities of our solutions.
Every strategy has its strengths and limitations. To implement a solution, we need to ask ourselves whether it can be done or not. Providing internships for PWDs will be great in acquisition of talent, which will reinforce the idea that they are not any different when it comes to showcasing their specialty, which can change perceptions of PWDs positively. This will in turn create a better image for the firm, induce motivation in the workers, and improve productivity while making PWDs less afraid to try. But a possible downside to such can be low turnout rate. This can be seen from handicap, which was mentioned earlier. Only 29 people or 50-something people turned up. This could render programs unsuccessful. Participation rate can be boosted by providing rewards and incentives such as free transportation. Also, companies should provide PWDs with a hope that a job will be guaranteed when they excel during internships, as many fear that companies carry out these programs for publicity. Another reason why PWDs may not attend such programs is because they fear that their needs will not be met. Hence, the purpose of this internship program must align with the motivation of the PWDs. Companies should realize what the PWDs needs so that they will be interested to join. According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, as each need becomes substantially satisfied, the next one becomes dominant. If companies want to motivate PWDs to join the internship, businesses need to understand what level of hierarchy PWDs are generally on and focus on it. Also, to further help employees grow holistically and apply the skills learned, companies should teach transferable skills like soft skills, and expose them to other sectors which will make them more flexible. Having workshops and programs like Fanfare of the Heart to eradicate stereotype and discrimination towards PWDs is also another form of diversity recognition, which will result in effective diversity management. But such programs will also lead to employees being pretentious towards them, as too much diversity from this program will result in employees forcing their actions to be more inclusive with the PWDs. On top of garnering empathy and understanding of what PWDs face on a daily basis, companies could implement job rotation to realize PWDs' potential and show how they are good team players while proving their competency to other employees. Now I'll pass on the time to Jerome to wrap up our presentation.
Thank you, Shirin. In conclusion, the two causes we have identified are low retention and low recruitment. These two problems can, however, be tackled by a proposed set of solutions. We will not only be focusing on theoretical education, but also on raising awareness through hands-on methods. This will enforce a more relatable experience for the non-PWDs. We hope these measures can change the lives of our PWDs and give them the independence they so greatly desire. Thank you.